Howdy folks, I'm Brian, here's Amber, and here's some Reddit. As you can see today, we're wearing red and green.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see, but I'm green-ish, and he's red.
Our first story is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to Participate in Christmas Activities with My Wife and Kids? My wife has always been into holidays more than me because she didn't have much of a family and they were dysfunctional. I grew up in a huge family and have already experienced as many big Christmases as I need. It wasn't a big deal, but since we have kids, 2, 5, and 12, she is obsessed with making it special. Over the years, she started a lot of new traditions that include decorating the trees and bookshelves with kids. She knows that I don't like to bother with any of that. I mean, I let her do it, but I don't want to be involved since weekends are my days off, and that's just unnecessary work. The thing is, she keeps asking me if I want to help, or go with them to see the lights, which takes forever, or do gingerbread houses. I could not have been clearer, so today, when she put up the tree, I just avoided all that by staying in the bedroom with the door closed. She says that I'm a jerk for refusing to participate and that I'm acting like I have holiday-related trauma, when it's really just the weekend. It's my time and I just want to relax. I don't see what the big deal is. She also calls me the jerk for telling the kids that Santa is fake.
There's a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. What?
They didn't believe me, so I'm not sure even why she's mad. I get that she's trying to give the kids what she didn't have, but it's not my fault that she had a hard childhood. It seems like she needs to get over it instead of trying to play catch up.
That guy's a jerk.
Yeah, well, I mean, she keeps trying to get him involved with, like, being a part of the family and being a part of the Christmas traditions. And just because OP had a, like, good childhood with lots of Christmas and stuff like that, doesn't mean that he can't enjoy Christmas now. And it just sounds like he feels like this is a lot of extra work when it should just be celebration. So I don't know.
Right. Well, and like, it's about building Christmas memories for other people too. Like, Christmas is not just about you. So It's great, OP, that you had good Christmases as a child, but you have a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 12-year-old, as well as your wife, who need to build Christmas memories.
Yeah.
And like, part of being a parent is helping build those memories for your kids. Like, the thing that's weird to me is he acts like the fact that he had a good Christmas means he should never have to do Christmas again, but his kids are at the age where they're building those Christmases.
Yeah, well, and another thing is, like, she may even feel like this has shadows of her childhood where basically she doesn't want her kids to have, like, bad, dysfunctional Christmases. And if you're locking yourself away in the bedroom every Christmas to avoid doing Christmas, then that's going to seem pretty dysfunctional to the kids. And it's not necessarily going to seem like a happy, oh, we're having great Christmases as a family.
And none of what he describes sounds over the top. Like, decorating a Christmas tree is pretty standard. Making gingerbread houses is pretty standard. Looking at holiday lights, it's all like, it doesn't sound like she's just like nonstop Christmas all the time. It sounds like a few basic traditions, and he doesn't want to do any of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I really think that you have a point there, and it just is like, this isn't that much to ask for. It's Christmas, it's going to make your wife happy. This isn't all about you, and basically you're making it seem like this is all about you. Like, well, I'm not getting anything out of it. Well, you know, it's the season for sharing and giving, so maybe you should give a little bit of your personal time up so that your kids can have a little bit better of a holiday season and that your wife can too.
To quote Garfield, it's not the giving, it's not the getting, it's the loving. Something like that from the Garfield Christmas special.
Yeah.
And that's really what Christmas, I feel like, should be about, is, you know, celebrating with your loved ones. And even if you directly, like, don't care a ton about Christmas, it's what you're doing for your wife and kids. Like, it really matters to them, and it would be great to help them build these special Christmas memories.
Yeah.
Our next story is, Am I the jerk for discouraging Christmas to my 20-year-old daughter? My daughter has had her own apartment for about a year. Every once in a while we get together or I visit her. She's a good kid, working a steady job despite not going to college. She's a tattoo artist. She could probably afford college by now, so she can get into a career, and this is relevant to my recent visit to her place because I believe she doesn't want to grow up. I came to her place and I noticed she had a tree up, and I jokingly said to her, "I see you got the tree up, still such a kid." And she asked me what I meant, and I told her that Christmas is mostly for children, and seeing that she's 20 years old and she's still holding on to her childhood. She got defensive and said anyone can celebrate Christmas. Of course anyone can celebrate, but I was just saying that it's a child/kid thing. I'm not calling her a child, but she's exhibiting something that's mostly for children. She still seemed ticked off and said, "Yeah, well, I'll be doing this every year, even if it's considered childish." And then I told her that she's got a lot of growing up to do and that she's 20 and still hasn't gone to college. And then she asked me what that has to do with anything. She doesn't like when I bring up her career, and she claims she makes good money and always tells me, "How do you think I afford all this stuff? I work hard. What's so childish about putting up a tree?" There's nothing wrong with celebrating Christmas, and she does work hard, but she's always been into drawing, and it's more the fact that she's still clinging to childlike things, which is fine for her age right now, but as she gets old, she'll need to start considering things such as a career, and the Christmas thing sort of was an example that she still acts like a child. She can celebrate it as other adults do and celebrate, but it's just a fact she should know that it's for children. Apparently, I am not an adult and have not been let in on the secret.
Yeah.
My other daughter acts more mature than she does, and so does my 16-year-old son. All of her cousins attended college, and she's the only one who hasn't.
I mean, what are your thoughts here?
So, I think there are some deeper issues at play here we're seeing than just the Christmas thing, but I'm going to start with the Christmas tree. And I'm going to say that anyone can put up a tree and it's not childish. I mean, I am not 20 anymore. I am older than that, and I have a Christmas tree up that I put up every year.
Well, it's such a strange thing to put a protest over, is like lots of people put up Christmas trees.
Right.
And I mean, it's not just for kids. Like my grandmother, for years and years before it became difficult for her, put up a Christmas tree. And there wasn't, kids over at her house and whatnot. And my mom puts up a Christmas tree. And, the thing is that this is a tradition I think that a lot of people share. And then it's not just, young kids having Christmas trees up.
Yeah. And I think the deeper issue here is she's trying to make her daughter look childish when really what she's upset about is her daughter's occupation.
Yeah. And
I want to say that being a tattoo artist is a valid career choice, and it's not something you need to grow out of. It's really awesome that Opie's daughter has found a way to use her artistic talents to make money. It sounds like she's doing very well for herself, and there's nothing saying she can't do this long term. I mean, being a tattoo artist is a skill, and as long as, her hands are still working to run the tattoo gun, it's something she should be able to maintain. Your daughter is 20 years old. She's old enough to make her own life decisions, and it seems like she's doing just fine for herself. So
yeah, well, I agree. I think that she is doing well for herself, and I think that you bring up a lot of good points here with the whole career stuff. And in some ways, I do see like why she would be concerned if she feels like this is a risky career for her daughter. Like, I think in some ways that this is like some concern that we see here, but it still doesn't justify her actions here for calling her childish and whatnot. And I do think yeah, it's good that she's concerned about her daughter and wants to see her be successful, but her daughter's definition of success here doesn't match her mother's, and I think that's really where the big disconnect is between these two people. So Amber wants me to read this one in a pretentious voice, so I'm going to do that. Am I a jerk for telling my friend that his story was terrible? My friend and I are both into creative writing, and we both wrote short stories recently and exchanged them and asked for opinions. I wrote a deep philosophical story that played out with science, politics, language, etc. to make commentary on the state of the world. My friend had few criticisms about it, but I think that's because he didn't really understand the story. His story, on the other hand, was pretty dumb. Very basic action-adventure story that might amuse teenagers. But it doesn't make any deep social or philosophical commentary. The language was also pretty basic. I told him that his story was terrible, and he got upset. Am I a jerk?
Yes.
Well, there's a difference between constructive criticism and just outright telling someone that their story is bad. And not all stories are written for all people.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the thing that you have to recognize. And you might not like the story here, but this might be a story for someone else.
Yeah. Well, I think my big issue here is just how pretentious OP is. Like,
Yeah.
there is nothing wrong about liking action adventure stories. I
Yeah.
mean, I read mostly horror, which is kind of, looked down upon as a genre by a lot of people because it's not highbrow, literary fiction or anything like that.
Yeah.
And lots of people enjoy lots of different things. So to write something off, like, it's fine if it's not your preference, but to be like, oh, well, this is just for teenagers, it's just dumb, it's not highbrow, is a really unproductive criticism.
Yeah. Well, and another thing I want to point out is that these are your first drafts, it sounds like. And it doesn't matter who you are, your first draft is terrible.
I was going to say that same thing. Like, in the fact that you seem to think there should have been no criticisms and that there's a criticism that shows you didn't understand your story really speaks to probably that you're not as strong a writer as you think you are.
Oh, I guess I misread that when I did that. My friend had a few criticisms about it. So it sounds like he's actually hurt about like him actually having criticisms. What's the point in exchanging stories if you aren't going to give critical feedback?
I think so his friend can praise him. It sounds like he was expecting him to just give him complete praise, and when he didn't get that, then...
Yeah, that's really what this is sounding like. And it sounds like he expected like grand praise. Like, oh my goodness, this is a masterpiece that Shakespeare would cry over.
Yeah, and the truth is, it's probably not as great as you think it is. It's a first draft.
Yeah.
Send it out to more people, get a lot more feedback, accept the criticisms when they come, when they are valid and warranted.
Yeah.
And our next story is, am I the jerk for telling my wife to go away after she was bragging about her promotion at work? Me and my wife have been married for 3 years. For info, I was working as a web designer, but me and some of my coworkers got laid off, and I've been looking for another job for a month, but I haven't been able to find anything. I've sent CVs, but I never got any response, and it's making me very unhappy and kind of hopeless. My wife, on the other hand, works at a bank, and she recently got promoted as a manager. She came home one day and decided to rub it in my face. She started bragging about it. At first, when she was bragging, I didn't really react. I didn't act all excited and cheery. I just said, "'Kay, good for you." After that, she looked at me like I was crazy and said, "Aren't you happy? I don't get any congratulations or anything." I responded by saying, "It's your win, not mine." She responded by saying, "It's not only my win, it's our win. Wake up." That line really ticked me off, and I told her, "It's not my win, it's yours. I get it. You had your promotion, good for you. What do you want me to say? You want me to act excited like this is something special? Why don't you go away?" She argued back saying, "What the heck is wrong with you?" After that, I just walked away. I'm in a lousy situation, and the last thing I need is someone bragging about their success to my face. I talked to my best friend about it, and he agreed that my wife thinks she is cooler than me, and she's something special, like she is superior than me. Am I the jerk for the way I reacted? Or am I a jerk for not even reacting at first?
Wow, that's quite the story.
I think you're a lousy partner, OP.
Yeah, well, I mean, partners are supposed to celebrate each other's successes. And I mean, you mourn each other's failures and you cheer on each other's successes. And that's what a good partnership is about. Yeah, she was right. Success for her is success for you.
Right. Like, nothing about this post reads like she's rubbing it in her face. It sounds like she told him she got a promotion, and when she was showing excitement, and he didn't react and then just kind of shrugged it off, which is a really weird way to respond to someone who you're supposed to be a team with.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's unfortunate that he thought that she was rubbing it in his face, but this would be like if someone graduated school and they were like, "Oh, I just graduated," and someone would be like, "So what? I don't care. Or that, that's your partner. So it's like, so what? I don't care. You don't have to rub it in that you graduated school.
Right. And like, it's not, she literally is like, it's not only my win, it's our win. Like, she's like, you two are a team. You're supposed to be working together. And this is presumably going to bring in more money for your household. Yeah. So I don't see why. I understand it's frustrating to lose a job and not be able to find a new one, and that it could seem like bragging in that light, but I would rethink about the situation. I don't think the wife sounds like she's trying to brag at all.
No.
She just had a success at work, and she wanted to celebrate it a little and share it with the person she's probably one of the people she's closest to.
Yeah, or she thought she was close to. I think that you should celebrate even small successes with your partner, and they shouldn't come across as sounding like, that you're bragging about something, because that's not the point of a relationship. A relationship isn't about one-upmanship. It's about working together to achieve common goals.
Right.
So I think his interpretation of even what a relationship is here seems really off, and it seems really backwards.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, it sounds like if he is not also benefiting in the exact same way at that exact same moment, then it's not a success for him, which is a really strange way to look at things.
Yeah, it's a zero-sum game to him.
Yeah.
She can be successful, I can be successful, but we can't both be successful. All right, folks, I think that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much to Amber for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate you joining us. People recently said that on the channel, they had a really nice comment about how they enjoyed hearing your insights, so I thought that was really cool. So shout out to that person. I mean, I can look them up real quick. Yeah, Dandios the Thing said that she really liked Amber's insights. So thanks, Dandios.
Thank you.
And if you want to see more of Amber's stuff, she actually has her own YouTube channel. So there's going to be like a link here or something like that that'll pop up. Probably not in time with where I'm pointing. So just look out for it. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving me a thumbs up. If you dislike this video, consider giving me a thumbs down. But also, consider telling me why in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Alright, that's probably enough noise.
YouTube, he makes us sit still like statues.
What's that?
I said YouTube, he makes us sit still like statues.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to stop you for a second here. This is YouTube. We can't say the word gun.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just kidding.